West Tigers fans, it's a coach's report that we've been dying to hear. Finally, a win for the West Tigers. Very excited to hear from Adel and Rob tonight. Firstly, this episode is brought to you by Gym Direct. So if you go to West Tigers, support us at westtigers.com.au. Go to the Gym Direct website. If you're after some fitness equipment, they can do everything from your dumbbells, your kettlebells, all the way up to commercial gym equipment. And use the code WTLXGD5, get 5%. Massive end of the year financial sale on at the moment there, and it's a good time to get fit as we start to hit the spring and semi-finals. Before we know it, who knows? The Tigers might be playing September football, and you can get your summer body ready in September as well. Speaking of epic beach bodies, Mr. Bashara, how are you this evening?
I'm very good now, Josh. A little bit tired, I'm not going to lie. I've had a really big day, but I got energised by watching the game at about 7 o'clock and just squeezed the full replay in before watching. Don't have any notes, but Adel's going to carry me like Terrell May carries our pack, so we'll be right.
We are, and we're doing it live. So if you want to watch this episode live, patreon.com/WestsLife, all our Patreons coming in. You get an ad-free private YouTube link through our, it's posted in the Discord and on Patreon. So patreon.com/WestsLife. How are you this evening, Adel?
Yeah, feeling really good, Rob. Josh. Always after a victory. So
absolutely,
very positive.
And one last plug before I drop off until Tuesday night this week. We'll be at the Orange Grove. It was great to be at the Orange Grove today watching a win as well, Rob. So we will be live at Tuesday night. So everyone come join us at the Orange Grove. And then, of course, next Sunday against the Warriors as well. As you just clear your throat, Rob, you're looking forward to the Orange Grove.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah,
well,
obviously we're doing Tuesday night because everyone's going to be watching State of Origin on Wednesday night, and we will be at the Orange Grove Sunday afternoon. What time are we playing, Josh? 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock Sunday again. Back to back.
We'll be there. We want a big crowd supporting us. The boys have finally got a win. Obviously, it's going to be a tough road trip in New Zealand, but come down to the Orange Grove and support the boys from there and take your frustrations out on the TV like we do together.
And one last bill to pay. So this episode of the West Tigers Life podcast is proudly supported by Keen Strata, professional and reliable strata management in New South Wales. If you live in a unit, townhouse, or apartment block, Keen Strata is all about making sure your building runs smoothly with clear communication and no hidden costs. They offer commission-free, exceptional strata management, and their focus is always on what's best for your building and community. Keen Strata is local, independent, and committing to getting things done properly. If you're after strata management that's upfront, reliable, and easy to work with, get in touch with Keen Strata at Keen, so K-E-E-N, Strata, strata.com.au, or call 8515-4080 or email info@keenstrata.com.au. Righto, enough blabbering on from me. Take it away, Mr. Bashara.
Thanks, Josh. G'day, mate. Finally, good to talk about a win. It's been far too long, especially with some buys in between our 4 losses as well. So it really feels like a long time ago. Mate, firstly, just tell me how you're feeling in general. Don't worry about the game right now. How are you feeling?
No, feeling good. Yesterday was tough. I headed out to the NRLW game yesterday, so I was very down yesterday, to be honest, after that loss and performance. But yeah, it was good to get a win for the boys today. So that's always lifts our spirit as Tigers fans, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does, mate. Obviously on the back of a lot of media, what would you want to call it, just media negativity. A lot of focus on us when there could be some focus on some other teams as well. Yeah, it was a win the club needed, man. I mean, Benji needed it, the team needed it. We've had a lot of close performances where we could have won games that we didn't. The drums are beating, pressure's on everyone. And I've got to admit, I think it was showing on Benji in some of his last few press conferences. But today, just watching that just now, I know both teams were depleted, we're missing 3 of our 4 spine members. The Roosters are missing potentially 12 or 13 players. So I get that they were missing a lot too. But just what I saw today, that from the get-go, from the get-go, we were pretty much on. Okay, there was that incident where Tito lets the ball bounce and unfortunately didn't go dead in goal. But even the way we resisted that goal line dropout, and then made that first 35 minutes to get out to 20-0. Just tell me how you saw the game, because obviously you've watched it. Knowing you've probably re-watched it. I've only seen it once, and I'm fresh on the adrenaline from watching it. How did you see that first half, mate? And what did you like about what we did? And if there was anything you didn't like, I'm assuming you didn't like the last 5 minutes of the first half. But if there's anything there you want to point out, just talk us through it.
Yeah, I think we took our opportunities in the first half, and we got a little bit of luck went our way, which was really, really good. It's kind of hard to assess the game because of what you just said, Rob. The reality is, I worked it out. They had 8 blokes who would probably make their starting or in their 17 that were missing today. We have 3, but our 3 almost equates to about 6 of theirs. So, but I'm not going to sit there and worry about that sort of stuff. I mean, we've been on the receiving end of that over the last couple of years. So I don't think that makes a difference. And to be fair, that's the kind of game over the last couple of years when we've had Uppy out or had Jareem out, we've lost those games. It didn't matter who the opposition had. So I'm not going to worry about who we had or who we didn't have and who they didn't have. But early on in the game, look, let's be honest, our first 2 tries were opportunistic tries. Stafford probably takes the wrong option down the sideline, and then I guess that's poor from Tupou to not sort of get his lever and wrap the ball up, and he's able to flick it to Charlie Staines. I mean, 9 times out of 10, that's a poor option, but, we'll take it. And then obviously, the Roosters lose the ball, R2 picks it up and streaks away. That's normally a try we'd concede, isn't it? It's nice for it to. It's nice for it to go our way for once. But I thought defensively we scrambled really well. I commented today that I thought that the Roosters had a real plan to go at Tristan Hope early in the game, and I'm not being critical here, I'm just stating an obvious thing from my end is he didn't miss a tackle, Tristan Hope, and the reason he doesn't miss a tackle is because he very much catches in D. So they seen that was an opportunity to sort of have a bit of an impact through him. But what he does really well is he's able to absorb the contact. But early on in the game, they targeted him pretty well, especially close to the line. And on a couple of occasions, we held them up, and he did a good job to scramble off the back of that. But you could tell early on that that's where they were targeting. I would say that it's almost like today it was about attacking the game, not so much with football structure or shape or whatnot. It was about turning up for each other, pushing up into spaces at the right time, trying to create quick play the balls, which we did okay, but we let them have a little bit better than us, and trying to complete as much as we can early in the game. So I thought we started well from an intent perspective, but I think we were lucky to be 14-0 ahead, especially with the early penalty goal. I don't think that was a penalty against Butcher for the tackle on Tito. So
yeah,
we'll take a little bit of luck, won't we?
Well, that's the one thing you always say to me privately, Adel, like we're doing so many things right, but if only we can get a little bit of luck in our games. And obviously a little bit happened today. Adel, again, still fresh in my mind, and I've seen both halves now, and we're still on the first half. But I just want to mention the overall effort from the team. I can't remember how many times that 4 and 5 guys were holding Roosters up over the line or just short of the line, or that intent, that scramble to push the guy over the sideline or to hold him up in goal. It was really inspiring. Just rewatching that again. And it's actually nice to watch a game knowing the result, instead of absolutely just losing your shit and, your insides are tearing apart and you think, fuck, we're going to lose this game somehow. But knowing what the result was going to be was just much easier to watch from my perspective. But yeah, what did you think of that effort, mate, that scramble? It started from that first goal line dropout where we held up the new winger, the right winger for Rodwell for the Roosters, and then it happened a couple of more times. We held up some big unit that I don't know what his name is, and even in the second half. That happened multiple times there. You can't be anything but proud of this performance. Granted, both teams were missing players.
Yeah, look, I'll be critical because I think we put ourselves in that position with some poor first up contact when we're close to the line. And on a couple of occasions, that left edge, I'll talk about Luke a little bit later, but Skelton in particular I think he's got a lot to learn defensively with his decision making. And I actually pointed it out a couple of weeks ago about the way he comes out of the line, one from a health perspective, but two in regards to his lack of ability to be a little bit more versatile there. But he's also very passive. So when he does get a situation where he sits on his heels a little bit close to the line. So yeah, I am a little bit critical of the fact that we probably allow teams by being a little bit too passive on our try line to get in those situations where we've got to hold them up. I mean, if you make that little bit of contact 7-8 metres out and do lose a bit of ground, well, you're still going to be able to put them to ground. But yes, we scrambled really well. I think Tito did a really good job defensively at fullback today. Is this the time I say well done, Robert Bashara, for calling Tito to be fullback?
Mate, I was questioning myself watching that first half when he dropped that simple catch. To be fair, he drops that catch if he's playing wing or fullback. But some of those carries he did in the second half, and one of those courageous bombs he took, he really lifted in the second half. We needed that leadership from him, and I thought his second half was tremendous.
I think and you know what, I've watched a lot of our comments today, right? We are a fan base, and I've talked about the fact that we're so scarred that every play, every action, we almost react to it with a big picture thing. Like, Tito dropping a bomb. Everyone, makes mistakes. People make errors. Like, obviously, I've heard a lot about Tristan Hope off the back of today, and I've seen a few people talking about Latu playing on the left side and trying to think of other stuff, that I, sort of I'm waiting for the person to come out today and say, Tito should be fullback now, even when Jareen comes back. I'm waiting for that because of the back end of game. Like, we're very emotional, but I loved Benji, and we're going to talk about Benji, I'm sure, later, but I love Benji's reaction to it all, and I'm going to sort of strip down to think of what today was about and some of the reactions and some of the comments we've heard from players after the game. But yes, we scrambled really well today.
Yeah, I loved his press conference, and we will speak about that a little bit later. I did get to listen to that on the way home and kind of did things in a bit of a reverse order. Adel, I want to ask you about our halves today, and I know we're still in the first half. We can talk about the whole game. I loved how direct they played. I loved what Adam Dewey did today. I know he took a couple of wrong options in the first half, but he was just taking that line on. He squared us up. They looked in sync. They looked like they had trained all week. We'll get onto the Samuela try in the second half. That got me off the couch. That was the best try of the match. That was such good football. That looked like it was practice and it was in sync, and we'll talk about that shortly. But tell me what you thought about Adam's performance. And it's probably going to be a little bit of a criticism for me of Romy. I want to see Romy be more direct. I mean, I know Adam was playing on the right side of the field, but Adam was like two shoulders at the line, taking him on. You didn't know if he was thinking run first, and then he had the pass option there. Even there were a couple of times I thought he could have passed the ball, particularly in the first half. But I was so impressed with Adam, so much so, Adel. I've just thought, you know what, we're not keeping him next year, and we can't afford to pay decent bucks for a bloke who's just a really good defensive centre. But from what I saw today, mate, he was really good for Latu Fenu as well.
Dewey's strength today was his long kicking for me. I kind of disagree with you in regards to the attack component. I think that what he did really well is he ran the football, which is where he's most comfortable, right? But I think the fact that we played against a very inexperienced edge sort of on both sides, Savala and Sandon Smith have always been guys that have struggled sort of to make decisions. And the fact that they had some rookies on both sides, they had Ethan King on one side, and I'm trying to remember, and Nwanga Nitawase, who's not very good defensively on the other side. I think that meant that they made some really poor decisions, and I actually think we should have capitalised on it a little bit better. And at times, Adam did make some bad decisions, but that's not who Adam is. He's not a ball player. Like, we've known that all along. When he plays in the halves, his strength is he likes to run the ball. He's a big body. He'll carry the football well. It's funny, right? Watching today, the one thing I will say is Latu and Jerome's weakness is going to be their lack of long kicking game, because Adam does have that. But in the big picture, it's going to be tough. Look, I know we're going to talk about a lot of this stuff later. I don't know what decisions Benji's going to make very soon. He's going to have to make some really tough decisions. Jerome and Latu are going to be our halves. Like, that's not a decision. There's no,
of course.
There's absolutely no decisions about that. Like, and I know what you're saying about playing direct. When Latu plays, Jerome plays direct as well. We've only got to see Latu and Jerome play in the halves together for 20 minutes in a game against the Raiders, where we played a lot more direct. And naturally, when Latu's in the halves, your second receiver is going to play a lot more direct anyway. So I think that's not going to make a difference. And sometimes what happens is you've got to go sideways. I know we think we don't play direct with earlier in the year and before Latu plays. The problem is if you don't have the ability to actually go to the line at first receiver, whether it's a lock forward, a middle forward, or a half, to actually create their defence to turn in and out, well, then the next guy's got to go sideways to get to the next man to try to get you there. So it's sort of a flow on from other things, but Latu makes us go direct. It's going to be interesting to see what Benji does, Rob, because I spent tonight, and this is why I was late, and I apologise. I actually resubscribed to Bar TV to watch the New South Wales Cup game tonight, and we'll address this a little bit later, but I don't know what he's going to do with that left centre position, because in 40 minutes of football, for each of them, Talin May needs another 80 minutes, and he's ready to go. He's got to be the left centre.
Let me just speak about the centres today for a little bit, okay? And look, we can probably cover Nwanganitawaze's try in the first half and second half because they're pretty much poor defensive efforts from Luke, especially on the first one. Obviously, Latu misses a tackle there before Nwanganitawaze goes over the top of Tito. What did you make of Luke's game? I didn't think he was okay in attack. I thought he ran the ball really strongly, but clearly he's got some defensive deficiencies at centre. I know he hasn't played a first grade game there, and it was a big ask. Josh, Aaron, and I previewed the game on Wednesday night, and that was the one. Like, I just figured, like, we've got no one else we can put there. Fata Ape seems on the outer, Folletti's on the outer. You're talking about Taylor May making his debut, and obviously Macassini in Cup. So there weren't really many choices for Benji. Luckily, we just got through the game and we won. That's the most important thing. And I don't want to pick on Luke, but yeah, I thought defensively, I don't think he'll ever be there again, or not this year anyway.
Look, I remember a young Stephen Crichton absolutely getting bathed by Wanga Blake in his first 3 games. Look, I don't have a problem with it. At the end of the day, when you want these kids to develop, you got to give him a baptism of fire, and he'll learn a lot more from today than he will from sitting in New South Wales Cup or not playing today. He's going to learn a lot more from it. So I don't mind it. The one thing I'll say about Luke, and obviously the other option I thought of today they could have played was Brent Naden at centre. I don't think it's much of a difference, okay? The other thing I'll say about Luke is, you're right, he didn't touch the ball, but every time he does touch the ball, Rob, you know what he does do? He gets the opposition interested and he carries the ball strong. So, again, big picture, I don't mind the fact that he played today. He learned some lessons, but this is what you got to do when you get into first grade. Not everybody's going to be a Robert Toyer or someone like a Billy Smith who's really good for them, 2 really good centres, but guys like that come into first grade and look really comfortable from the get-go, but everyone's had an initiation. Everyone's, looked bad at some stages, and I'm sure off the back of today, Luke's going to learn a lot. Like, they'll gain more out of this today than he would have 4 months of training, So, yeah, didn't mind it, but like I said, I've sort of made up my mind where I'm looking at the next couple of weeks.
So would it be May ahead of Makasini? I want to put you on the spot. I know you're a fan of both.
Well, let me tell you, and if we didn't have Taylor May, the 40 minutes I've seen from Makasini tells me, I'm not going to say he's ready, but he's up to it 100%. Like the touches, the class, the way he carries the football, but he'll make errors and he's going to have some challenges defensively. But it doesn't matter to me. Like sometimes you got to sit there and go, this kid's up to it and he's up to it. Like no doubt about it in my mind. But you've got Taylor May and that's class. And, you know, I worked out the maths today. I think Taylor's been with us for 4 weeks now. So sometimes, you know, you want to talk about pre-seasons and whatnot. Guys come back in January. They get 4 weeks in, they'll have a trial or two. And then, you know, so he should have that. I think you give him another, you know, maybe another, try to get 80 minutes out of him next week while the boys are in New Zealand. And then I think like overall against the Titans, I think he's got to be our left centre. You know, the class in his physicality, the class in attack and his physicality in defence. It's a grown man sport, rugby league, and he's a grown man. He's someone that's physical, he's aggressive, he's all class. And you've seen that in 40 minutes of returning back after not playing the game for over 12 months. You know, it's very evident to me. So I've got no hesitations in saying, you know what, you want to get 80 minutes out of him next week, I'd say. And then regardless of what we do, he's got to be our left centre come the Titans game. And that's where the challenge is going to be for someone like Adam. But, you know, potentially you look at Adam goes into that 14 role.
Well, now we're on the topic of centres. Can I ask you, hopefully you can bring me up to speed on this, Adel. Again, I've just watched the game. I better not keep saying that for the rest of the show. But Starford Toa looked injured. Is he going to be right for next week? Have you heard anything post-game or anything like that? Because he looked like he was carrying an arm or a shoulder there, and credit to him for sticking it out and still doing some good defensive work after he looked really hurt.
I don't. And yeah, I'm not sure. And, you know, we've learned in the past is usually we'll find out whether someone's injured or not, usually on Tuesday. So we're probably not going to know what happens there. I'll tell you the interesting thing for me is I know you talked about Makasini and Taylor May. Both of them prefer to play left centre. I don't think Adam's going to really care if he plays left or right. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens there if Toa is out. But I think Luke will get another crack because I don't think, you know, at the end of the day, not everybody's Nawangani Tawase and he's very good in attack, Nawangani Tawase. So, yeah, I don't know about Toa.
He certainly is. Look, again, I thought our forwards really dominated today and set the platform up. And Wednesday night, I thought if we were to have any hope, you know, it had to be the forwards because obviously they had even with a couple of players missing, their back line looked really potent. And to the forwards' credit, they really did lay the platform. Who stood out for you from our forwards today?
Samuela Fenu. And it's not about his numbers, it's about his intent in everything that he does. I'm going to say this, Rob. Whenever Uppy's done, Samuel is our next captain.
Wow.
Or he's our next leader. I just watch the way he plays and the way he just will throw everything at every moment in that game. You're seeing someone who is developing into a senior player and he's only, 23? Is he 22, 23?
He's
played
22.
under 9.
Yeah.
Mate, he is a phenomenal player. And the facts are, and this is not being disrespectful, well, I am being disrespectful to our own club because I'm allowed to because we won 3 wooden spoons. If he was in a top echelon team, he'd be one of the premier back rowers in the competition. And you know what? We always look at back rowers to see what they do and the line breaks they make. But Samuela, even his bad this year, or what we're considering his bad, or he's being quiet, has still been high quality.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Adel. I think since Magic Round, his form had been rather down till the last couple of weeks. But, you know, I defer to your expertise on that. I know you're a big fan of his. I mean, look, the Roosters got absolutely Fenu today. Like, when was the last time 3 brothers scored a try in one game? Like, has that even happened?
I don't think it's ever happened.
Yeah, you probably ought to go back to the '70s when Canterbury had the Mortimers and the Hughes and all that. But I can't ever remember that happening ever. But I would have thought someone would have mentioned it on the podcast if it had been a creating history moment. Mate, let's get on to that second half. And mate, I want you to talk me through that Samuel Fenu try. That looked like a Melbourne Storm try. That looked like it had been rehearsed, and it was precision and the timing. And I know, okay, you're probably thinking I'm exaggerating here, mate, but we don't do backline movements really well. And that looked really slick. If you disagree with me, you can disagree with me, but I thought it was brilliant.
I'm disagreeing with you. But that had everything to do with one player and one player only. That was Latu Fenu's ability to take three defenders in one. So if you go back and look at it, he catches the ball, he goes slowly at the A defender, he then bounces out to the inside shoulder of the B defender. So that means he's taken them two out. Plus he's got a good lead line and a genuine lead line from Seyfarth, so I've got to give him credit. Fenu's got him turning his shoulder in, so he's taken three people out on a side that had six defenders. We had them so stripped there as well. Like at the end of the day, Samuela hits an inside line on the centre. That's how well Latu did on that play. So that was Latu's class more than anything. Absolute. That's Isaiah Katoa like.
Yeah,
So
that deception, and like you say, he doesn't have one speed like some other halves do. He's got that change of pace in him, and I'm surprised you didn't mention this. I know he had nothing to do with it in the end, but even just seeing Tito go from the right side to the left side to look like we were stacking that side and be out the back had there been a need to throw the ball out the back. I think there was just a lot of effort and class that went into that play. So it was really good to see something come off for the boys, and weren't they happy about it?
yeah, that was quality. That was. I'm not going to lie. I stood up and clapped when they did that. I don't react much when tries are scored, but on that one, that was Latu. That was nice to watch.
Yeah, I don't react when I watch games when I know the result of, no matter even if it's my team. But I reacted 3 times today. Once when Latu picked the ball up, when Savala dropped the ball and ran the distance, I got up screaming go, not knowing that he was going to go all the way. I screamed at Seyfarth when he just stood still about 12 metres out, and I said, take the fucking hit up. Like he was running around in circles. And then the third time was jumping off my seat when I saw Fenu, and I was in a hurry to watch the game, but I just rewound it. That was such a good try. So yeah, that definitely got me on my feet. And mate, let's just digress for a minute. How important is this win for the fans? Like, we know it's important for the club and for the players and whatever, but you've seen probably more social media today than I have. I've got people tagging me saying, are you okay? Why haven't we heard from you today? I've been out, I've been busy, but how important is this win for the fans?
I think it's significant, and I'm going to give Benji credit here because I love to give him credit.
You give him credit when we lose 64-0, so I'm happy with that.
I believe part of his message today was about the fans, because every single player talked about it in their interviews that it was just good to win for the fans. So I reckon there was a message all week about our fans deserve this, our fans deserve that. They've lost 6 in a row, they're sticking with us. I think that's what part of the message this week was about, winning for the fans.
Yeah, it was. I got to be honest, I can't wait to check out the Discord chat. I haven't been on Discord today. I haven't seen much of Twitter. I've replied to a few comments, but I've got plenty of text messages and what have you. And I've got a few shout outs I've got to give today to some people as well. Look, that was the end of the try scoring from us. Obviously, look, Adel, we won by 2 points, didn't we? Was it 2 points in the end? 30 to 28. And we took
five
three.
Tries to 4.
We went the Adel Harsh theory, mate. We took the 3 penalty goals and we ended up winning by 2 points. And Adam kicked 7 out of 7, so they were really important goals. We don't often get 3 penalties, let alone 3 penalties within kicking range. Good to see it went our way today, mate. It's just been a good weekend, man. It's been really good. It's been a really good weekend.
Always take the 2.
Always say, well, I won't say always take the 2, but yeah, I think when you're down a player in the sin bin, Adel, and it's 14 the diff, or eat the diff, you take the 2. But anyway, we won't go back to the Cowboys game. Mate, any players you want to talk about? I think we're not going to talk about the Roosters come back in the end there, or the second Nawanga Nituaze try, the Tedesco try. Actually, I do want to talk about the Tedesco try. So I think I told you we were waiting on a par 3 on the golf course. I've got Foxtel IQ going. They scored the try. I think it said 14 seconds left. And Teddy's doing these ones like they want the goal attempt. So I figured they were going to have 14 seconds and then time's off. And then suddenly they kick the goal. What did I miss there? What went on there that, like, why wasn't the penalty, the conversion just totally declined? And how did they get away with scoring like that and stopping the clock and getting the kick up within 7 seconds? I missed that.
Well, I didn't want to talk about the referee, but what happens is Peter Goff tried to help them. So Tedesco tells him we don't want to kick the goal. Peter Goff tells him, calls him back and says, "Are you sure? I just needed to speak to you about it." Then he says to him, "Time is off anyways." So then Tedesco goes, "Oh, hang on." But then he goes back to him and says, "However, time will go back on as soon as the try is confirmed. So set up the kick."
What the hell? Really?
Andrew Voss is going off.
Okay.
Anyways, and I'm sitting there going, and in my head, I'm sort of like, I don't care, like, take the kick. But are you surprised?
No, but surely once you've declined it, that's it. You don't get to take it back.
Exactly. There was a time in the game today where Blake Steve got caught on the last tackle and he went to run the ball and Peter Goff kept yelling, "It's last, it's last."
Yeah, it's not his job to do that. Look, I think let's be fair to the referees. They are instructed how to ref, and the refs are mostly instructed we don't want 30 or 40 penalties in the game. So that's why, like, for example, I heard Latu Fenu called offside in the first half. So he backed off and he didn't make the tackle. We ended up making the tackle. So if the ref doesn't give you the warning and Latu makes the tackle, he's going to get penalised. So I think they're under instructions to give advice so that they don't have to blow penalties. I'll give them that grace. But, yeah, what you're telling me now at the end of the game, like, man, that just would have been another way to lose the game, wouldn't it? Seriously. Like just, I don't know. Well, they really wouldn't have had time to get within 2-point field goal range with 7 seconds left. So I guess it meant nothing in the end.
By the way, I've said this on the thing. If you ever have less than 10 seconds to go in a game and you got to kick off, my theory is with the new rules in regards to restart, you don't even kick it long anymore. You just grab the ball along the ground 10 metres because it's going to be a contest. Worst case scenario, it doesn't actually go 10 and the 5 seconds runs out. And then it's just to play the ball. It's not even a penalty.
Repeat that again, Adel, because I don't want to take you to task in case I'm wrong.
So what you do is, and Daly Cherry Evans did it once, and I think it was last year, you just rubber the ball along to try to find it 10 metres.
Yeah.
Because worst case scenario, they have to just pick up the ball, dive on it, and then the game's over. Secondly to that, it doesn't go, the ball keeps rolling and then goes out or doesn't even find 10, but it's contestable because you're getting it towards the 10. It's just game over.
No, I'm going to disagree with you there. You correct me if I'm wrong. If the ball doesn't go 10 metres from a kickoff, it's a penalty. It's not the same rule as a goal line dropout. No way.
Yeah. Hang on a sec. It's if it doesn't go 10 and you touch it, it's a penalty. If you don't touch it, that means it just hasn't gone 10.
Okay. Unless there's been a rule change, I don't agree with you.
But even then, you don't not make it go 10. You still make it go 10.
No, you have to make it go 10, or they've got a 50-metre shot to tie the game. Like, you can't give them a goal kick.
No, but it's not a penalty anymore. It's only a penalty if you touch the ball before it goes 10.
All right, my father-in-law's getting a phone call tomorrow because he was a former director of referees, so hopefully he's up to speed with that one. Mate, talk to me about your best players today. We're probably going to disagree about it. I think our halves are our best 2 players. Would you agree with that or not? Or are you going to say Samwell is your best?
No, Latu was the best player on the field for both teams today. I would say Samuela probably was my second best player. I think Terrell May and Fenu was really good. I think Dewey's long kicking game in the back end of the game was really important for us. Like that was really important. Having his long kicking game. Tito was massive. I'm trying to think. I thought Tristan Hope had a very, very good game.
Can you talk to me about Tristan Hope for a bit? I'm not being critical. I'm just going to play a little bit of devil's advocate there. I thought our forwards didn't adjust to him. Like he plays differently to Appy. I thought it's like he takes a few more steps sometimes, and sometimes he'll double pump. And I kind of felt in general play, like, look, it's his second game in first grade. So I'm not trying to be negative or anything. I just found that some of our forwards found it difficult to adjust to him. I don't know. He's just got a different style. Like he was very good for us. I think he had 43 tackles, maybe none missed, or 41. So I know you said he catches his tackles, but still, it's still a big effort for someone who's been playing cup all year to come up and not miss a tackle. Did he play 80 minutes? I haven't even looked at the
64.
Stats. 64. Okay, that's a really big effort from him.
I'll
talk to me about Tristan Hope for a bit.
I'll rephrase it. And this is again where I said earlier on, like the way we watch the games and we judge them now is, we literally look at Tristan Hope played today like he's a guy that, put it this way, he played to the extent where, he wasn't uppy. He wasn't a top 15, top 20 hooker in the game. He's not a starting first grade hooker week in, week out. Like yet. I don't know if he pulls 4 weeks of that in a row. But he was solid enough where he could play 64 minutes for us today. His first time playing more than 30 minutes in first grade. And to the extent where in the back end of the game, we had one change left, Benji put him back on to finish the game. I think what he did really well was his line speed was really good.
Yeah.
So when I say he had a good game, it's not so much about his attack. Yes, he was different in attack. Like even the Sione try, like that's not a try assist. That was the wrong option, to be honest. If you go look at the replay, he should have never hit Sione. That's just Sione's credit. Sione for he's always had that little bit of footwork and then his ability to spin out of a tackle. And I think 2 of the Roosters players clashed as well. So that wasn't a try assist. Like that Tristan Hope pass wasn't what created the try, but his attack wasn't great. But it doesn't matter. It didn't need to be. His service needed to be good, which it was. When he did pass the ball straight off the ground, and then defensively he did a job. That's all we needed from him.
Given like what our roster looks like now, Adel, and obviously Appy will come back in next week from that concussion protocol, do you find a spot for Tristan at number 14, or do you play someone else as a 14 more a utility? Do you think he's earned a spot? I know it's obviously up to Benji in terms of what he wants to do. I guess Heath Mason will be available next week if he wants to put him at 14. If you're changing your centres, like you said, potentially Adam is a 14. I doubt Adam gets dropped from that team the way he played today personally, the starting team. But where do you think we go moving forward with Tristan? Like we had Talin on the bench, not play any minutes a few weeks ago. Is he going to be someone that we just put on the bench and if we need him, we need him?
No, I don't think he's in our best 17. I think that's the problem we've got, or he's for him. Yeah, like I said to you, I think with the Taylor May situation, like at the end of the day, Taylor May is a much better setter than Adam. So he's got to be the left centre when he's ready. And then I think Dewey goes to 14. And I think you sit there and you say, if we really need someone to play hooker and Uppy can't play, well, you figure a way for someone else to play that role. But you can't be carrying Tristan Hope on the bench just as an out-and-out hooker.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, if Adam's playing 14, Adel, I think you got a really good 13 that's starting because he's playing some pretty good footy at the moment. So
I honestly think that you did it with Latu. There's no reason why a bigger body, a senior footballer in Adam shouldn't start running at 13 more. Like I think that's got to be his position for us for the rest of the year. You can't put someone. It doesn't matter how well they play, Rob. At the end of the day, Taylor May at left centre makes us a better football team. So just because Adam's playing well and he's done a job for us and a good job, especially defensively, you can't keep him there once Taylor May's ready. That's the facts. Like it's not about being nice guys or whatnot. Like but Adam's in our best 17, so he's got to have a spot on the bench. I think he takes the 14 position, and you start preparing him and you train him to play maybe 9 and 13, and obviously he can play anywhere in the back line. So I think that's what's going to have to be best for us. And just like everybody else, if you don't like it, that's a you problem. And I get it. Like, he has played well. He's done a really good job for us. But at the end of the day, the team and the club comes first.
Jack Bird was a late withdrawal, Adel, with some gastro this morning. Talk to me about Tony Sukar's performance. Watching that replay, I kind of really didn't notice him much. How did he go? No, I mean that like not as a criticism. I'm asking what you thought of him, because I really didn't notice him.
That can be the biggest compliment you can give a hard-working back rower, is you didn't notice him, right?
Yeah.
He did his job. You don't need 13 superstars on the field.
Did he play 80 minutes?
Yep.
Okay, good stuff.
They did not go through him once. I think he was very solid. Like I said, he didn't give away penalties, and I am having a crack at Seyfarth here because he's the one that's been playing on the edge. He didn't give away penalties. He didn't do any stupid shit. He just did his job. He carried strong. He made his tackles. He didn't give up his inside shoulder. He wasn't passive defensively. And yes, well, that's right. We did not notice him, Rob. He did his job.
Talk to me about Kit Lowley, his minutes. What did he do today? I know he stuffed up that play the ball from the time Sione scored when we were up 20-0. I don't really know. Haven't checked the stats, mate. Or not all the stats anyway, but the individual stats I haven't checked. I'm getting some feedback that he wasn't crash hot. What were your thoughts on him?
Yeah, look, I feel sorry for Kit, but look, he played 11 minutes to the extent where Benji couldn't trust him to even start the second half. They made a change at halftime. That's how important it was. So, look, I feel sorry for him, but I can't see him playing first grade again for us.
Ever or this year?
Don't know.
Okay, just trying to put you on the spot, mate. All right, let's talk about your favourite subject and your favourite person in the world. Talk to me about Benjamin Quinton Marshall's press conference today. Your thoughts on what he said. He gave our Fenu boys, and I think he gave Luke Lauliti a compliment, saying they want to be at the club, and had a bit of a dig at those who don't want to be at the club and aren't part of the club anymore. What did you think of it? It was interesting. I mean, it didn't want me running through brick walls or anything, but it was good for him for standing up for himself, for the club, for his beliefs, where he thinks the club's going. I thought that was really good because, again, Adel, it's only a footy thing. It's not a personal thing. I lost faith in Benji from that Manly game. I thought all the changes to the spine and some of them weren't forced and what have you, that really bothered me. So I'm telling you personally, I lost faith from a footy point of view. I was really happy for him today.
Well, before we go to the Benji press conference, let's go to the Latu interview.
I haven't seen it, so talk me through it. What did he say?
Well, Latu's exact words were hang on, let me not say exact words because I might not get it exactly right.
Well, you can just paraphrase it. It's fine.
Actually, you know what? No, I will bring them up. Bear with me. I brought my work phone to sit next to me so that way I could bring up anything I needed to. Okay, so Latu's exact words were, there was two things he said in his press conference, in his interview post-game that were big. And his exact words were, this win means a lot, not just for us, but our fans and especially our coach. He's been through a lot and we did it for him.
Yeah, that's nice to hear, isn't it?
And then when Latu was asked about playing in the 7 jersey, they said to him, is that his home? And his exact words were, I'll play wherever, I don't care where I play, I'll play wherever it's needed. I just want to play for the jersey and for this team.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
And this is my point with you, Rob. This is where you and I disagree. I've said this numerous times. The hardest challenge as a coach is being able to play for a team that wants to play for you. That's the hardest challenge. The second hardest challenge is trying to get people to come play for your club. Benji succeeded in both those things. Benji has proven that he's able to make tough decisions, in my opinion. What he said today is 100% on the money in regards to Talin and in regards to Galvin. The other thing I don't know how much I'm going to give away here. I will give away a few things. I think there was a little bit more than this. So someone made it known to me that the two players we've lost are Lachlan Galvin and Talin De Silva. Lachlan Galvin is managed by Isaac Moses, who's also manages Jareen Buller. Talin De Silva is managed by Mario Tartak, who also manages all the Fenu boys. Sometimes managers don't want guys who are on big money at the same club because they're taking one from away from the other. So if they can get deals to spread their players, they will do it. Something didn't seem right with the whole Talin deal as well, even the last week or so, and we've heard different versions from everybody. So I kind of think Benji turned around today and went, look, at the end of the day, like if people wanted to stay, they would have stayed. If they wanted to go, they would have went, and they did. So I think he was just being honest. He was being himself, and he was just saying it how it is. And this is the beauty, I think, about Benji Marshall being our coach is what player is going to turn up to our club unless it's, I don't know, Nathan Cleary, maybe a Cameron Munster or Jerome, not even Jerome Hughes. I can't even use him yet. That's going to turn up and go to look at Benji and go, I'm better than you. Nobody can. No, not one player can say they are bigger than the club when the person that's coaching the club is the biggest person to ever be involved in our club and probably one of the greatest players to ever play the game. You don't have that leverage as a player to walk into that. So I think right now what I'm learning is, maybe our results might not be on where we want them to be right now, but in regards to the person that's in charge of our team, there's nobody better than Benji right now, or there's nobody available that's better than Benji right now. Let's just say.
Yeah, look, on Talin, I mean, his comments during the week since he's joined Parramatta, I actually think they're embarrassing. Like he's embarrassed himself, like saying, I've been behind Appy for 3 years, as if he played 150 games. Like he only debuted 2 years ago.
Rob, let me tell you this. I'll say this. I knew from day dot, this is why I know Talin told people that when I was at the club, I didn't like him. The reason I did not like him, but I knew from day dot that he thought he should have been first grader from the moment he turned 18.
Yeah, he's a dynamic dummy half runner, and he's got nothing else to his game. Seriously, like his general play is rubbish. His defense isn't great. He'll be a good player one day, but he's at least 2 years away. Anyway, that's not.
You know who reminds me of? A young Blake Brayley. Remember, Blake Brayley was very, very similar. And Blake Brayley's a good player. He's a very good player, but he's not top echelon or hooker. Like I think someone like a Wade Egan is a good dummy half runner, but also has a lot of subtleties and creativity around his game.
Correct.
Talin doesn't have any of that. The way I judge my hookers, honestly, is your kicking game. If you can jump out a dummy half and kick well, I think you're a good hooker. That's what I wrote about Jared Hayward. So that's what we'll wait and see for that one.
Just back on Benji, Adel, there's going to be a lot of people that will say today, we beat the Roosters because they were missing umpteen players, or as you said, probably 7 or 8 that might have been in their first grade side. I mean, I look at it like you can only beat who's against you and who's out there. Like I'm not doing cartwheels that, like we're back and we're going to make the finals or anything like that. I accept that we played a really depleted team, but we got to win. And even when I look back at my thoughts on Wednesday night, I mean, the one thing I was thinking was, the forwards can lay a platform, but we can't score points. So, like, if we win, it's going to be something like 12-10, and we scored 30 points today. So, I got that wrong. So I was actually really happy to see that we could score some points. Granted, you said a few of them were opportunistic. I mean, you've called Toa's pass to Staines a low percentage play, but it wasn't the wrong play. It was just the right play. It's just very low percentage because he scored the try. So it worked.
It was the wrong play 9 times out of 10, and we got the one.
But you can't call it the wrong play if they score. You can call it a very low percentage play.
I know.
Yeah, like you got one shot at life, mate. He went for it. And we got a try out of it. So right play, but very low percentage.
Like you said, Rob, you said the same thing. Benji said the same thing in his press conference when they asked, "Is that the most satisfying win?" He said, "No, it's not enough."
Yeah.
He said, "How can you play well for 40 minutes and then allow them to come back into the game?" He said, "If that's going to be our standard, well, what's the point?" And this is the thing, but even. And there was that moment, and we could all lip read. Okay, when the last kickoff, I don't know whether you did, when you seen Benji on the sideline, and this is his footy IQ, and this is where you can tell he's struggling with the players.
Not knowing.
I'm going to say stupidity. I'm going to be direct. And I think it was Dewey that kicked off. The message was getting sent, kick left. Why do you kick left? Let's break it down now. We'll go to video and we're showing that last clip. And I say to Dewey, why do you know why I was yelling kick left? Normal footballer. No, I don't know why. Because every time they shifted to the Nwangani to Isaiah, that's where they were creating, right? So they've only got one shift. There's 5 seconds to go. If we kick to that side, they can't shift to him because the ball's already there.
Yeah.
That's the IQ of Benji that obviously the players, or some of the players, when Jerome's not playing, we don't have Benji on the field. To me, when Jerome's playing, we actually have a little bit more leadership. Credit to Benji. He gave Adam a big tick today, and he credited him a lot. And I will credit him a lot for his kicking game. His long kicking game was outstanding for us. It was really, really big. But the lack of IQ. I'm not the best lip reader. I don't think Benji wanted to go for a field goal at the end. It looked like he was saying, keep playing. When we had those garbage sets on their try line, it looked like he was saying, keep playing.
Yeah.
And we were just setting up, and I could see Adam sitting behind looking for a field goal. To me, we barely got down their end of the field, Rob, in that second half. And the one time we did, Latu created. I would have made them work, make them go sideways, let them be tired. So when they do even if they do get the ball, they're going to be off their feet. By the time they have 3 carries, they're still struggling.
I think our average set distance last week was in the low 30s, and this week I think it was 47 point something. So we certainly were making some good yardage in every set.
Tito, Charlie Staines, and Jarrell Skelton were outstanding out yardage.
Yeah, no, they were really good. Mate, anything else you want to touch on the great Benji Marshall about, or will we move on to something else?
We can move on. That's enough of Benji glazing today.
All right, mate. How's our team going to look for next week, in your opinion? I know we're speculating. I know we'll find out Tuesday. What changes are likely to be made given you look? I will say something about what Benji said in the press conference. It seems like Jerome's definitely going to travel to New Zealand after Origin because he said we'll have Jerome back next week.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, they play Wednesday in Sydney, so it's not like he's got to travel anywhere after the game.
Yeah.
They'll give him Thursday, Friday off. He'll probably do captain's run with them Saturday morning. Depends on when they fly. He'll fly to New Zealand, do the light captain's run, and play Sunday. It's a 4-game. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4-day turnaround. It's fine.
So we'll have.
I think him and Api will return. I don't. Heath Mason does not return for me. Tito just stays at fullback with Staines and Skelton on the wings. I think Api comes back at a hooker. I think Tristan Hope will travel. I think he'll play on the bench this week because I think Dewey will go to left centre.
Yeah.
Back to left centre, and Jerome will come back to left half.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I said Tara on the right, Adam on the left.
Yeah, presuming Toe was okay. The interesting one's going to be Jack. That's it. I know that, considering what the Roosters were, including everybody being out today, we also had Jack Bird out today. I know he's not Jack Bird of Origin, but at the end of the day, he's Jack Bird. He's in our best 17. So there's another one we had out.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting one, what they do with that. But I think Suka will go back to the bench. I think Luke will drop out. I think he probably will start Jack Bird. He may not. He may decide to go with Suka to start and then bring Jack Bird on. I'm not sure. But I think the Laulees are the two that'll come out. And I think Jerome and Uppy will come in.
You don't think Suka should retain his spot and have Jack Bird in the middle rotation? Like Suka starting as opposed to dropping back to the bench?
Yeah, especially considering he played 80 minutes today. I think that's a really good, made a really good impression on me. So I think he deserves to keep his spot, but I don't think there's a wrong in that, to be honest, whether they start with Bird or him. I liked it. You know I like Jack Bird at back row.
Yeah. Can we beat New Zealand next week?
I think we've proven at the end of the day we can beat anybody. So will we beat New Zealand is the question.
I guess they have Tamare Martin coming into the halves now for Metcalf.
Look, yeah, and the Warriors are one of those teams as the way they start is important. So the first 20 minutes next week are going to be very, very important. You know, what we did today was we scored first for the first time in a long time. You know, I don't think we scored first till, I think, the Cronulla game, wasn't it?
Cronulla game was the last time we scored first in the game, correct?
Yeah,
I think
so even Magic round where we won, we still conceded first to the Dragons. So look, I think for us it's about starting well and then putting ourselves on the front foot and dare to dream. But if we can somehow go to New Zealand and pull off a victory, we go to Leichhardt the following week. You know what that means, Rob?
Oh, I mean, well, firstly, you're there, so I'm looking forward to that. But
it means a sellout on a Sunday afternoon at Leichhardt. Put it this way: if we win next Sunday in New Zealand, I won't sleep for 7 days with excitement to go to Leichhardt. Neither will you. Let's be honest.
Oh, mate, honestly, today, like I said, I had a busy weekend, but the one word that describes how I felt was relief, absolute relief. Yeah, I won't start talking about my son that was with me because I'll start crying. But just to see, how he was and how choked up he was, it was, mate. We miss winning. We need to win. It's.
Can we just make sure? Can we get you on the golf course next Sunday again?
I will be on the golf course. Why? You don't want me to be for that? No, I'll probably go to the golf course at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning so I can make it to the Orange Grove I'm not missing the Orange Grove again, mate. I'm not letting those four blokes. I'm not letting Brandon, Shane, Josh, and Aaron just sit there like, mate, I want to see a bit more aggro, a bit more going at the refs. I want to rev everyone up.
I need to watch a game with Shane. I like Shane.
Yeah, just don't say too much about Lidcombe Oval and the Magpies, mate. Otherwise, you'll get upset. But yeah, look, I just want to give a couple of quick shout outs to my cousin Marcus Zumbo, who is probably staying up watching this show in school holidays. Apparently he can't wait to listen to you on a Sunday night, Adel. So a big g'day to him, and I hope they're enjoying the win. And to my great mate Adrian Tripadina, who only texts me, Adel, through the golf game when something bad's happening. He doesn't text me at 14-0 or 20-0 or anything. He starts texting me, I told you Luke can't play in the centres. I told you Luke can't do this. I told you Luke can't do that. So to Adrian Tripadina, thanks for those last few messages, mate. Because if you didn't send me a positive message or two, you were going to get blocked. Are you still there, Adel, or have you just turned off the camera?
No, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you basically look like the 16th, 17th, and 18th hole that I had to contend with today, and somehow I was able to still play some decent golf, not being able to see where my ball went.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now.
Someone tried to call me.
Oh, okay, that's why it blacked out. Mate, do you have anything else to say? Because I want to wrap this up in under an hour today, but I'm happy to. They're trying to call you again, mate. Have you got anything else to say about our great win today? It's probably the shortest one we've done for a while, but I've got to be honest, I don't have the stats with me. I don't have the individual stats, team stats, interchanges. We're going easy on Benji tonight. Benji deserves a night off. Well, you're always easy on Benji. You're always easy on Benji.
No, yeah, look, I'm very proud to be a Tigers fan. I don't know, was there anything else you wanted to address with me? Or maybe we could have a quick chat about the NRLW and their loss on the weekend.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you about that. I actually watched that yesterday, Adel, and it's actually sad to say. I think the scoreline flattered our girls. I really do, and let me explain why. I thought we got a lot of great refereeing decisions. I thought the Broncos bombed a lot of tries. What I will say, I've always known how good Tamika Upton is. My God, the Broncos look different with her in that team. She is elite. She is so good to watch. Like, if you don't want to watch any NRLW, just watch the Broncos and watch this girl at fullback and how she runs, how she can ball play. She's got it all.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit upset with how the lack of attention to detail around her, when she attacks, because she does the same things all the time. So you can actually prepare for it. But yeah, it's an argument for another day. Look, I agree with you. Look, I'm very, very worried about our season after the back of Saturday's game. I think the girls actually had a real red hot crack, especially early in the game. But mate, when you don't have the artillery, you don't have the talent to compete. You're not going to. And the Broncos were very clunky early on in the game. We're very lucky that early on in the game that they were sort of finding their rhythm. They've only played one trial with Tamika back in the side, and their goal kicking was terrible. So yeah, I'm worried. I think the next 2 weeks are going to be important. I think we've got the Dogs next week, and then we've got trying to think who else we've got after that. I think we've got the Titans. I think they're the actual two games where I know the Dogs won on the weekend. I don't actually rate the Dogs.
Mate, I watched that game. Like, Newcastle looked like they were going to win by 20 plus the way they started that first 20 minutes, and then it was all Bulldogs.
I don't rate the Dogs. I don't think they're that good. I think they just got some really good lucky stuff happen in that game. But anyways, the girls need to win one of these next two, or they're in for a really tough season. And I've already said it. I'll do it for free. If they ever get in trouble, they know my number. I'll do it for free.
No, mate, you come back and help the NRL team, mate. Listen, I'll look just on our girls team. I'll throw you on the spot here. I want to get a positive out of you, so please try and find a positive here. Who surprised you from our girls yesterday in a positive manner? I know you expect our props and Kezi and all those the same girls to do their thing, but who impressed you from our team?
Yeah, the hooker, Pahuka Berriman Duff. I thought she was really good. It made a lot of sense to me that when she was off the field, we struggled a little bit. I thought she was really, really good. Trying to think who else. Yeah, I mean the regulars obviously were really good. What we lack is speed. We don't have any genuine speed, and the other thing we really lack and we're missing is Tafunga and Rikia Horn not playing this year. There is no yardage carries for us from our outside backs. I think that was like 35 metres an average set, so they're going to struggle with that. There's no outside backs that can carry the ball. And I talked about this in the season preview with Az. That's going to be a challenge for the rest of the year.
Mate, a lot of good comments about your cameo appearance on Wednesday night's pod, and a lot of love shown to you over the screen. Mate, is there any chance we can get you on for 10 to 20 minutes on Tuesday night, albeit trying to get you and audio and the headphones and whatever is a bit of a mess when we're trying to do a live show from the Orange Grove. But can I rope you into doing 15 minutes? Because you know what? We want to talk about the Warriors game. I'll tell you what, if we win that Warriors game, suddenly we're like going from wooden spooners to shit, the dream's back on.
Well, don't we also have the bye after the Titans game again, if I'm not mistaken?
Aaron would know that. I think it's round 22. So whatever round 22 is, I think that's when we get the bye. So I think that seems a bit soon, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Oh, hang on. What's next week? Round 20?
No, sorry. We got the Warriors, Titans, Panthers, Bulldogs. Bye.
Oh, so what is it? 24 then? Is it round 24?
Yeah, round 23.
Round 23.
Look, I'm happy to do that, Rob, as long as I don't get text messages from former employees of the club telling me off.
Would that have been that Brian name that appeared a couple of times? Was that him?
No. I'm
Oh.
talking about former
Oh,
employees.
okay. Well, you want to talk? Yeah. Do we want to mention that? Do we want to actually give this guy any airtime tonight, or what? Like it was. I thought he went about it really politely, to be honest, Adel. Do you want to share with the viewers what was texted with you?
Yeah. Look, I received a text message from our former head honcho, who
CEO.
funnily enough, I never heard from when things weren't going great with me back at the club when he was still there. So, yeah, it was interesting to think that, it's a little bit of a problem I've got in rugby league where people think that they have the right to sort of text people in their private time when you don't have a relationship with them and sort of address them in a way. And yeah, he might have been polite, but still, him and I don't have a relationship. When times got tough, he never sort of fronted up to me. So, and sort of assisted me in my times when when he was needed in his role at the club. So I haven't responded, and I don't know if I will. But yeah, it's very interesting to see, and I think it's a little bit of a sign of where our club was, wasn't it? Isn't it, Rob? That but it's also a sign that everyone's watching this podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that makes it interesting. I mean, look, I guess he did bring us a barbershop, mate, and he did bring us ask the CEO or ask the boss. Sorry, I should say, ask the boss. Two terrible things that were part of the club. Look, not everyone's a fan of Richo, but at least Richo's trying. I don't know what this bloke was doing, mate. He had no idea.
Look, I'll be honest. He was. I mean, every time I dealt with him was fine. It was more so the fact that I believe in rugby league and in life in general. It's not about how you treat people when things are going good. It's how you are for them when things aren't going good. And at the end of the day, when stuff happened with me at the club, in that period where I was treated pretty poorly in a situation, he wasn't there for me, and that's how I judge how you treat people. Not so much when things are going good. And when we won the Harvey Norman, and that's when I spoke to him a couple of times. But whereas I'll give credit to Richo. Richo, I wasn't at the club, and I requested to have a catch up and a meeting with him, and I sat there and spoke to him for half an hour, and it was very respectful, and he was very open, and he did it in a great manner, and we were very open and honest and raw with each other. So I'll give Richo a lot of credit for that. In the fact that he facilitated me, even though I wasn't a part of the club, and I was able to sit down and have a conversation with him and stress my points and talk to him about my position with the club and whatnot. And I understood his, but the respect that he gave me, I'll respect that forever.
No, I just think, again, I'm ultra biased here, Adel, but the fact that you won something for the club, not even 3 years completed, and you're not a part of that club, that just gives me the shits. Like, you're a winner, mate, and that the club needs winners like you. And mate, they should be flying you first class back from Queensland and giving you your own barbershop and shaving your beard for you. Okay, but anyway, I'm biased, mate.
Like I said, Rob, with the NRLW, whenever they're ready, I'll do it for free.
Don't say that, mate. You've got to get compensated. But anyway,
no.
All right, look.
I'll do it for free, and then I'll earn that paycheck.
Well, let's hope the girls start winning. But if they keep losing and they keep sticking with the same people running that program, then obviously the club would be pretty silly, mate. I'm going to hassle you and hope you show up for 15 minutes or so Tuesday night. We'll just talk about the team list, and maybe you can give us your own tip sheet on how we should play the game, how the Warriors will try and play us. Mate, how good is it? We've had about 5 or 6 grand finals in 1 year, and we've got another one next Sunday, because if we win, there's 7 or 8 other teams that are going to lose, and then all roads lead to Leichhardt Oval the following Sunday. And we'll be at the Orange Grove that day as well. So I hope everyone comes and joins us at the Orange Grove Hotel, not only next Tuesday, not only next Sunday to watch the Warriors game, but join us in Sunday fortnight after the Titans game, and hopefully we'll be having a celebration and talking about the win with my mate Adel Haj. Adel, thanks so much for being on here tonight, and thanks for carrying my heavy ass through the show, and keep smiling. I think we're all going to smile this week, and just all the fans out there, love you. Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to West Tigers Life Podcast. What a great show. Love that Rob Bichara. Check out all their episodes and content at westtigers.com. .eu. What great content. Watch Coach's Report with Adel live by joining patreon.com/WestsLife. What a great deal. Join their Discord as well. Wow, fantastic. Please grab that subscribe button by the